Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I am here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen somewhere, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, we had some technical difficulties last week, so we're going to run it back this week again, talking all about top dressing and leveling. And this week's going to be even better because you know what? I got tons of content. Viewers sent in, several of the Academy members have been doing some lawn leveling this past week. So they sent me some pictures, some videos of their projects. You guys can see how it's done. Some of them were just recently top dressed. Some are already on their way to recovery. So it'll be kind of cool to give you some ideas of inspiration should you decide to level your lawn this year. Now, we're coming to you guys live on YouTube as our primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Now on Instagram, you're only going to get to watch the first hour of the show. So if you're watching for an hour and we've got your attention and you're enjoying it, come on over to one of the other platforms and you can continue to watch until we end the show for the evening. As always, if you feel like supporting the show directly, you can jump to the start of the line by using the Cash App link, and that's a way. Again, I'll jump to your question, and you can also be the show sponsor if that means anything to you. All right, let's get into it. So, guys, lawn leveling. Why do it? Why is lawn leveling such an interesting topic for this time of year? Well, for most of the folks that are watching a show like this on getting a golf course lawn, building, professional level turf grass at home, having that smooth manicured look to your lawn is a big part of being able to pull that off. So top dressing is a way of getting rid of the unevenness, the bumpiness of the lawn. It allows you to mow lower, which again provides that really big manicured look that we're after. Now, the biggest reason why most people will level their lawns or top dress their lawns is primarily because they want the appearance of it. But what I would like to share with you guys is there's a lot of good reasons to do it outside of just the appearance. Like the first time I leveled my lawn, it's almost 10 years ago at this point. I was doing it for the same reasons, right? Main reason was I just wanted to have people on the lower, have that nice golf course fairway look. But the things I didn't realize were the benefits to the soil, the benefits to drainage, and so on. So, even though you really think about top dressing from a standpoint of getting a smoother lawn, one of the biggest benefits you'll have, especially if you have a clay soil, heavy clay soil that doesn't tend to drain that well, where water has trouble infiltrating into it. If you top dress with a good blend of sand, where the majority of the material uses sand and along with some compost, what you're going to find is you're going to drastically improve the ability of your soil profile to pull water away from the surface. So in other words, instead of having standing water when it rains heavily, like it's literally going to pull water away from the surface, it's going to look like magic. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I got out of leveling my lawn that I didn't really plan for, but was a really welcome benefit. Literally, no matter how heavy we get rain, as far as rainfall I get on my lawn these days, within a few hours, the lawn is dry enough that I could go out and mow it if I wanted to, which is pretty cool. So if you're going to level your lawn, that's a benefit that you may not really have considered, but it's something that that has a lot of it has a lot of upside. So it's another reason to do it outside of just the appearance reason. All right, so let's jump into the questions. As we go through the show, I'll share some of the videos and pictures that some folks have sent with me already. So let's get into it. All right, we got Mr. Two Trilla from Manila. He says, "Hey Ron, and happy Friday, everyone. Looks like Georgia will finally get some rain tomorrow and possibly all next week." Dude, we're due for it, man. It's been a rough April. You know what I mean? I always talk about, hey, April's a great time to level your lawn because we have spring showers. It waters the level mix in and it helps the stuff settle and the lawn recovers faster. Not this year, man. This year it's been pretty dry. So hopefully you are right that the rain does come tomorrow and that we get some more rain next week. We're definitely overdue given the lack of precipitation we've had in the month of April. So I'm with you on that. All right, so we had a question here from Mr. Maxwell Perry. It's a question about split applications. He says, "What are your thoughts on doing a split application of Humic Max like every 2 weeks instead of once per month, in addition to weekly or bi-weekly liquid feeds?" I mean, you could do that. What the thing is this, Max, we're already applying Humic Max at relatively low rates, right? So we're applying it 3 pounds per thousand, and that's going to feed the lawn for 4 to 5 weeks fairly easily at the low rates that we're putting it in. Now, I guess if you wanted to take the 3 pounds per thousand rate and cut that in half and apply that every couple of weeks, you could. But I mean, it's the reason why I don't necessarily recommend that is it just creates a lot more work, which for not, in my opinion, a ton of upside. Like spraying liquids every 2 weeks, I see a lot of reasons for doing that. But applying granular fertilizer every 2 weeks, it's a lot of work. Let's think about it. If you did it that way, you now are having to get your fertilizer spreader out. You're going to be applying fertilizer every couple of weeks. You're going to have to make sure you blow off or clean off sidewalks, driveways every 2 weeks. In addition to also doing your liquid foliar sprays, right? So could you do it? Sure. I mean, if you want to, there's not really any negative as long as you manage the rates properly. It's just a time thing. Time, and is the juice really worth the squeeze? And in my opinion, I don't really think so. But if you want to, as long as again you keep the rates in check, you absolutely could. All right. And then next up, you said you're reading an article on the effects of Primo Max on newly germinated ryegrass, claiming significant benefits in lateral spread and density. So I applied 0.35 ounces per thousand across my yard. We'll see. Yeah, man. I mean, there's lots of benefits to growth regulator outside of reducing mowing. So to your point, lateral spread increases just the turf hardiness. Seed head suppression, it's a big one. So that's another reason why, even if you are not necessarily looking to drastically reduce the amount of mowing frequency, a big benefit that you get from a growth regulator is that it drastically reduces the amount of seed heads you're going to get in your lawn. So a lot of folks that are watching a show like this, the appearance of your lawn really means a lot to you. So, considering introducing Primo or New Easy into your program as a way to again reduce mowing, but also reduce seed head suppression. And to your point, the article you read talks about the benefits of causing lateral spread or improving that. Yeah, I mean, again, the only real negative to growth regulator is just I mean, you can say the cost of it. It's not terribly expensive, but also just the time, right? But if you're using our program, which would have you applying granular fertilizer once per month, and then going out and doing your foliar sprays every 2 weeks, you're going to be out there anyway. So then putting out your growth regulator really isn't a really big lift because you're already spraying, either carbon kit and our liquid fertilizer or some other combination thereof. So it's not a huge deal to have to get out there and throw some Primo or some New Easy or both in the tank and get it all out. So yeah, keep us posted as far as how well it does. I mean, yeah, for 0.35 per thousand, that's still on. I mean, it's kind of it's on the low rate. I guess you're applying once per month. So I think ryegrass is around a little over half an ounce, right? Is what it calls for per month, somewhere in that range. So if you're doing 0.35, I imagine you're not going to be spraying that every 2 weeks, right? So keep us posted as far as how it does. I'll be interested. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Anthony Velez. He says, Ron, got my first mow in with my real mower, and all I can say is rotary mower should be illegal. Wow. Okay. As I was saying earlier in the chat, kind of a harsh position, but I get it. I get why once you go to real mowing, it's tough to go back or tough to see the merits of rotary mowers, especially if you have a grass that can really benefit from real mowing, right? You got like a zoysian lawn, a Bermuda lawn, ryegrass, KBG lawn, ones that can be really cut short and really, really take off when they're maintained at lower heights. I get it. But there's also the cost of real mowers, and the maintenance is more expensive, and the time commitment, if you decide you're going to start real mowing your lawn, is higher than if you're just doing rotary mowing. So I get it. I understand why people may not necessarily want to do real mowing, but it is a different level. It is a different night and day difference as far as performance of what you get in your turf. And he said, also, I just scalped and did an aeration, about to lay down carbon protein, some gypsum, along with the 14714 I got from you and liquid first. Is this okay? Also, when can I spot spray herbicides for kikuyu afterwards? Okay, so you're doing a lot of things. You did aeration, you're going to put down some granular biostimulant and fertilizer. That's all good. Liquid fertilizers, you want to apply that as well too. Also fine, as long as, again, big thing is the rates, right? So as long as you are applying 14,7-14 at the rates we recommend, which is like 4 pounds, 3 to 4 pounds per thousand for that guy. And then for the liquid fertilizers, if it's a golf course lawn fert, it's going to be 6 ounces per thousand. You're still well within reasonable limits as far as the amount of nitrogen you're putting into the lawn. So there should be no issue with that. And then can you spray post-emergent herbicides for kikuyu afterwards? Yeah, you could. The only thing I would tell you is that I would, if you're doing the granular fertilizers and the liquid sprays, that would be fine. What I would not do though is spray the herbicides along with that, but like putting them all together in the tank, especially if you're going to be using surfactant, because that can you can get some burning to the grass if you use surfactant with liquid fertilizer. So if the way I would do it is, if tomorrow you had all this stuff, or say you had this weekend to get all this done, what I would say is go out and get your scalp. You got your scalp and aeration done. Go ahead and put out your granular biostimulant, do your other amendments and your fertilizer, and also do your foliar spray. And then if you want to, that later on that afternoon, so you say you sprayed in the morning, later on in the afternoon, you can go ahead and water everything in, and that'd be fine. That's going to give the liquid fertilizer enough time to dry. You should be good to go. And then the following day, if you want to go out and spray your post-emergent herbicides for kikuyu grass, you'd be good to do that. You know what I mean? I mean, you can technically do it all on the same day, but I mean, the big thing is I just really don't want you to be tempted to throw the fertilizer in the tank along with the herbicides and surfactant, because that can cause not so good results. All right. So hope that helps. Overall, it looks like a good plan to me. Have fun. Keep us posted as far as how it goes. It sounds like you've done a lot of research, and that you should, what I'm seeing, you should get a pretty good result, Anthony. Thanks for the question, and keep us posted again on how it works out. All right, next up is Mr. Scott Smith. He says, good evening, everybody. Can't wait to hang out. I can't hang out tonight. We're going out for family night. I get that, man. You got to do that every now and then. You got to go and hang out with the fam. Nothing wrong with that. But he came in and said, hit the like button really quick. I appreciate that, Scott. Thanks for all the love and support. And even though you're going to hang out with the fam, you still took the time to come out and say hello. All right, Mr. Jason Harrison, one of a couple people that are doing some lawn leveling work, Says, happy Friday. He says, strawberry lemonade in hand, ready for a good show. Yeah, man. So tonight I'm just doing, what am I doing? I got the regular lemonade. You're more bougie than me. You got the strawberry lemonade. I'm like regular lemonade. And what I cut this with, I did it, it's got sparkling water. So it's like half sparkling water and half Chick-fil-A lemonade. And it's a thing of beauty. Pretty good. It's pretty tasty. Pretty tasty. So Jason Harrison is doing some leveling. If you guys want to see all the work that he's been putting in, he did some work. Robert did some work, so we're showing you guys that here in a little bit. But let's start out with Jason. So first of all, he shows, you know, all that material. Look at the lawn. It's already looking good. Already looking solid. I gotta admit, already looking quite nice. Got his delivery of sand, and then next up, he's showing the quality of it. It looks pretty good. It looks fairly decent. I don't see a whole lot of trash in that. So it looks like you picked a good source to get your material from, Jason. And then showing it again. See a lot of sand there. No, I don't see rocks or other garbage in it. So again, good choice. And then next he's showing his core aeration work that he's got done. He got the plugs pulled out on the lawn. I like that. So you got his material, did the core aeration, and then it's movie time. So he shares with us how he's putting the material down. It looks like he used an Eco, which I gotta tell you, man, that's smart. Man, it looks like fun. That really takes a lot of the work out of it. So you got like a small loader, which is kind of cool. So you stop, jump in your loader, throw the material in the hopper, and you're up. Man, this man is not messing around. So here's the thing, guys. I always say if you're leveling, you know, 3 people is the way to do it. But Jason is showing that, you know, one guy where there's a will, there's a way, he can pull it off. See what I mean? So he goes out and refills his hopper, and he's back out there putting more material out. So what would happen is this, right? If you had friends that you could, I mean, people that are friends initially, they might not remain friends after you do all this work. But what you would do is you'd have one guy running the loader, you'd have another person on the top dressing machine putting material out, and then you'd have another person running the leveling rake, right? And you can kind of rotate jobs, because the person with the leveling rake is kind of getting the short end of the deal, right? So, but yeah, 3 people makes it go that much faster. But as Jason showed, 1 can work just fine if you are organized and are dedicated. So overall, awesome job, sir. Looking good. So that's step 1. He's put the material out. So let's recap what he's done so far. He got his material delivered. He did a good aeration. He's spreading it out. And as you can see, like, he's not beaching the lawn. You can still see some grass. You can still see some grass coming through there. And actually, I'm gonna go to this next one here where he shows him dragging it in. So you can see he's done leveling the lawn, putting the material out, and now he's dragging it. He's got like a grate there behind the loader. He's dragging all the material in. And again, that's about your 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of material that I always recommend. You know, this lawn is gonna recover really quickly from it. You're not gonna smother the grass. And overall, you're just gonna get a really quick recovery. So material's out, and you see that grate is making really quick work of working the that top dressing material into the canopy, which is pretty nice. Really good work. I like it, Jason. Showing the folks how it is done, especially when you're a one-man show. Can't beat that. And then the question you're probably saying next, right? So he did all this. You know, Ron always says, you know, a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of material, what does recovery look like, right? So he did all this work, and he sent a recovery video because, you know, he wanted to show you guys what it would look like. And here we are. So this is day 0 after it was done. Little time lapse. And then day 1, the following day, and day 3. You can see the grass is growing through there really nicely, really quickly. And I think day 5, which is where we're going to end, is where we are. So just 5 days after all that material is put out, you can see how the lawn is growing through really well. So what this points to is, by going with a lighter amount of material, when you put it out over the lawn, you're going to get a much faster recovery. This is the first time that Jason has top dressed his lawn, so that is also helping as well too. But you really see the merits by watching this recovery video of going light. You know, he was able to address any low spots in the lawn. You'll get a lot of the benefits of putting out the material, but he's not going to be looking at a beach for the next 6 weeks. Really, realistically, I mean, at day 5, it's looking good. By this time next week, he's easily going to be able to put a mower on the lawn and get back out there. So by going light with your top dressing, with your lawn leveling project, you're going to be able to do one now, like mid-April. You could do another one, you call it late May, and then again in like late June, early July. So you can easily get 3 top dressings in within a season, which is plenty of time to completely transform most lawns, right? So great exhibition there, Jason. Really thank you for sending that in. I think it's really helpful for a lot of folks that were looking to see what it takes to level a lawn, and showing that even with just one of you, just one person, you can get quite a bit of work done. Really, really cool. All right, so moving on, we got Mr. Rob Shart in the live stream. Saluting, I salute you as well, sir. Thanks for coming by to say hello. The next up is Nick Rand. He says, thank God it's Friday. Lawn leveling project tomorrow. Have a great stream. Send pictures, man. Take and send pictures, Nick. And maybe, I mean, obviously you're not going to have them for this week, but for next week, send the pictures in. We'll show the folks all of your hard work. Folks need a little bit of inspiration, man, sometimes for getting out there and getting their lawn in top form. Okay, next up we have Jay Gons 98. He says, I'm looking to upgrade into a powered reel mower. Love it. Love where this question is going already. What is your opinion on the Rolex S-Series mower, specifically the S17 or the S20? I would be mowing less than 1,500 square feet. I'm imagining the S17 is like a 17-inch wide mower and the S20 is a 20-inch wide mower, I'm guessing. I don't have any direct experience with any of the new Rolex mowers, so I kind of, I don't really want to offer comment because I haven't even seen the new ones. The one that I saw it's probably been 3 or 4 years at this point. It was whenever the Real Rollers Revolution was being developed, and that particular one I did not like. Having said that, they've done a lot of changes, I believe, between then and now. And I mean, again, I don't really want to comment on the mower because I don't have any experience with it. With 1,500 square feet, you can't go wrong either way. If you don't have a lot of obstacles to have to get around, J-Gons, what I would say is maybe go the 20-inch. Go a little bit wider. You get wider stripes. I think overall it's going to look pretty good. Again, 1,500 square feet is not a ton. That extra 3 inches, again, as long as it's not going to pose like issues with you having to maneuver around obstacles or just make it more cumbersome to store the mower, then I would personally go with the slightly wider one, with the 20-inch. I think that would be the way to go for me. So, and again, congratulations on considering to move into a reel mower. Once you get it, send us a picture. We'll show it off to everyone here on the show to see. Everyone can see what you're working with. And I will tell you, it's one for anyone that's really, really serious about their lawn, especially if you have a grass that tolerates it, right? So if you have like Turf 5 Top Fescue, reel mowing is probably not for you. But if you have a grass that will benefit from lower heights of cut and regular mowing, that reel mowing really helps promote, or requires rather, you're really going to do a lot for your lawn. I mean, the appearance benefits you're going to get are going to be second to none. So keep up with it. Let us know how it works out for you. And again, either one of them, I think you're going to be happy with. But I don't have any experience with any of them to be able to tell you for sure which I would go with. I'm inclined to go with the 20-inch, but I mean, it's really your call. All right, next up is RX Farm D 2005. He says, if mowing at 3/4 of an inch, do I need to scalp my Bermuda before aeration and lawn leveling? No. If you're at 3/4 of an inch, you're not going to really run into issues with putting the material out, nor are you going to have trouble with the tines, punching good cores if you're at a 3/4 inch height of cut. I mean, the picture that Jason sent here, where is it? I'm not sure what height of cut he's at here, but he is not super. Yeah, I mean, that's probably somewhere between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch is what I would imagine. And there was no issues at all with that. So yeah, so 3/4 of an inch, RX Farm D, I would stick with with that. I really wouldn't go much shorter. I mean, if you could scalp, what would you scalp to? Like 1/2 inch, I guess. If you want to, you can, but it's not necessary. I mean, it's not really going to be difficult to properly move the material around on a lawn that's cut at 3/4 of an inch. And a benefit would be by having it just a little bit taller, and again, we're talking about 1/4 of an inch here, right? Is that its ability for the grass to hold on to the top dressing mix, to the leveling mix, is going to be better when it's being just a little bit taller than if it's shorter. So if you have any kind of a slope on your lawn, if you expect there to be any kind of heavy rainfall, a lawn that's maintained at 3/4 of an inch, the sand is going to be less likely, again, to shift away from where you put it than a lawn that's at like 1/2 inch or shorter, right? So just another consideration why, if it were me, I would just leave it at 3/4 of an inch. It's less work for you, and it's not really going to hold you back from getting a good result, okay? So great question. Take pictures once you decide to go for it, and so we can share with everybody with what you're doing, all right? Next up, we got Mr. Lewis P86. His Freshmo fertilizer down, just waiting on rain. Should have some. I'm not sure where you are, Lewis P. We should have some tomorrow, though. I think that's what they're saying. So, assuming you're in Georgia area, So let's hope that that happens. And then next up is Ricky Gonzalez. We're gonna take Ricky's comment, and then I'm gonna share some pictures, some other content with you guys, some more lawn leveling content from some viewers. He says, Ron, long time watcher, first time commenter. Welcome. Glad to hear that. He says, what can I do to keep Bermuda grass out of my St. Augustine? St. Augustine is doing good, but I see some Bermuda trying to creep over. Glad you asked, Ricky. I have the solution for you. So if I understand correctly, you got a St. Augustine lawn. You got some Bermuda grass coming in. You don't want Bermuda grass in your St. Augustine lawn. What can we do to get rid of it? I got you. So if you go over to the Golf Course Lawn Store, you go to shop, and then you go to Weed Killer. Under there, you will find the Zoysia and St. Augustine kit. It consists of 4 products: Fusilade 2, Recognition, Surfactant, and a marker dye. What this is designed to do is selectively, keyword selectively, remove Bermuda grass out of Zoysia, St. Augustine, and Kikuyu grass lawns. So what's really cool about this is, in the past, if you had Bermuda invading your St. Augustine, I mean, your options were spot spray with glyphosate and then resod the area. I mean, there wasn't a really good way to really get rid of the Bermuda, but now there is. This combination of using Recognition and Fusilade along with Surfactant works really well. The grasses tolerate it very well. So Zoysia, St. Augustine tolerate it very well. So as far as like you seeing injury to your lawn, especially spraying at this time of year, highly unlikely for that to be a thing. And it's a way for you to, again, to remove Bermuda grass out of your lawn. So fun facts about this, I'll throw a link here in the chat for you, but I'll get a little story time. When I sodded my Zoysia lawn last year, so we're a little over a year now, because it was done, put in April 2nd or April 3rd of last year. At the 6-week mark, I started seeing some Bermuda grass begin creeping back in because my front lawn used to be Bermuda. I did a round of Fusilade and Roundup to kill it off, like just to burn it all down. But of course, Bermuda grass is undefeated. It's going to show its face again, right? So it started to grow in. So with my sod, only 6 weeks old, right? You wouldn't necessarily think this would work. 6 weeks old, I said, I'm going to test this. I know it's relatively new sod, but it's me. I don't really care if I damage the lawn. It's my lawn. I know, I want to see like how gentle or harsh really is this combination. And 6-week-old sod, it doesn't really get much more. I can probably say vulnerable than that. So I did that. I sprayed, Recognition Fusilade at the label rates, 6 weeks old sod. So it would have been like mid-May. The only thing yellow in my entire lawn was Bermuda grass dying. Like the Zoysia, the Xeon, you wouldn't have known anything was sprayed on it. The Bermuda was being burnt to a crisp. So the product, that combination works really well. You do need to mix it properly. You do need the surfactant, the marker, the surfactant, and both herbicides. Like don't spray Fusilade 2 by itself. Don't spray Recognition by itself. You need the Recognition, the Fusilade 2, and the surfactant. The only thing that's kind of optional, I'd say, is the spray indicator dye. But if you're doing a blanket spray, that does make it easier to ensure you're getting even coverage. So that's what you're going to want to use to get rid of the Bermuda grass that's invading in your lawn. So here you go, Ricky. Hopefully this helps you get things under control. And in the product description for this, there is there's a great how to use section, but there's also a video in there that talks about the rates that we'd recommend using to get a good result. Again, they come from the label, but I mean, if you just want like a quick video kind of explaining what each one product does and how to use them and tips for getting good results, watch the video that's also in the product description. All right, hope that helps. So remove Bermuda from Zoysia and St. Augustine. There you go. That's what you need to do it. All right. So hopefully that helps, sir. And think about it, man. It's relatively new product. I mean, Fusilade 2's been around for a while, but Recognition is probably 2 years old at this point. It took the folks at Syngenta a while to bring that to market, and it's an amazing product. Like the way it works is they add a safener to it called McCamafin. And what that does is it just makes it enables you to spray Fusilade 2 at the rates that you need to be able to control Zoysia grass. I'm sorry, control Bermuda grass in Zoysia and St. Augustine lawn. So before, if you went out and used Fusilade 2 on Zoysia, even though it's labeled for it, at the rates that you needed to use it to control Bermuda grass, you were likely to get some injury. And on St. Augustine, forget it. You're also going to damage St. Augustine as well. But when you pair it with recognition, now you're able to spray Fusilier 2 at the rates that you need to, and then the only thing that's really damaged is the Bermuda grass. So it's a really, really good product they brought to market. Really, it's the only thing that does what it does the way that it does it, and also again, little to no injury to your desirable grass. That's the big thing, right? There's a lot of herbicides you can use that can control certain weeds, but depending on temperature, depending on the time of year when you use it, those types of things, you can get good or bad results to the grass that you want to that you're trying to preserve. Like your desirable grass may get some damage. Recognition and Fusilier, it works really well. It's to me, it is like what Celsius and Certainty are. That combination is for warm season grass, where you're able to spray it over a relatively large temperature range and control a broad amount of weeds with little to no chance of injury to your Bermuda, Zoysia, St. Augustine, Centipede lawn. Recognition and Fusilier are very much the same way for controlling Bermuda grass in your Zoysia and St. Augustine, and Kikuyu as well. I have yet to talk to anyone that actually has Kikuyu grass that had Bermuda in it, but it's also labeled for use on Kikuyu grass as well. All right. So good stuff. Hopefully that helps. Let me know how it works for you. Just stick to the label rates. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's 0.55 ounces of Fusilier 2 and 0.03 ounces of recognition per 1,000 square feet. Add 1/3 of an ounce of surfactant along with that, and you're off to the races. All right. Okay, next up, we have Drew Gotti. He says, what do you do to clear up grass snakes after rain? I'm sure bagging prevents this. Bagging. So you already answered your own question. Yeah, so you call them grass snakes. I call them zebra stripes. But yes, grass snakes is probably actually a better term for it. But yeah, so bagging your clippings is a great way to help prevent that. If you turf rake your lawn, somewhat regularly, that's also going to drastically reduce the amount of grass snakes or zebra stripes you can have in your lawn. But then once they're there, if you have a leveling rake, that does a great job getting rid of them. So if you got those, you can just take a leveling rake, go out there and just run it over them. It'll break them up, disperse the grass clippings where they just kind of fall down. And that's a fast way to get rid of them. That's not a whole lot of work. So if you got a leveling rake, that's what I would use to get rid of your the zebra stripes, or as you refer to them, as grass snakes. Good question. It's a thing that folks are dealing with this time of year, so I appreciate you asking, Drew. Break out that leveling rake, man. It makes quick work of the grass snakes. I think I'm gonna call them that for now. It's actually probably a better name, because zebra stripes, we call them zebra stripes, but really, I don't know. I guess you could say the grass is green and the grass clippings or the snake colorings are brown, so that's the contrast. But either way, you know what we're talking about. All right, next up is Mr. Mike Coulthard. He says, send some photos, Big Mike, comparing a year ago. Thanks for your advice. We'll aerate and level next month. Yes, so Michael sent some pictures in of his lawn of where he was a year ago and where he is now. And here's the thing. Our lawn is still in progress, but it shows you how concerted, how consistent effort, what that difference that can make in your lawn. So this is where he was before, and let's just say, it's a lawn, but it's on the struggle bus, right? It's definitely on the struggle bus, and it's it's only up from there. That's where he was before last year, and this is where he is now. So from that to that in a year is really good. And I think that line, maybe some irrigation or some kind of trench work he had put in there. So that's likely what that is. The lawn will grow through that, but pretty awesome transformation to go from that to that in a year. And we're still early in the season. So if we revisit this a month from now, this color is going to be a lot nicer, deeper green. It's going to look spectacular. So, so again, overall, thanks for sending the pictures, Michael. Obviously all your hard work is paying off because the lawn looks great. Looks awesome. Really, really good job. Turning the lawn around. It's only gonna get that much better as you stick with it. All right. All right. Next up, we have Scott Smith. He says, I'm here for a couple of minutes before leaving. Sent this week's update pics. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see what you got here as far as pictures. I think you sent some in. Yep. Got picture 1 and picture 2. And okay, so this is where we are now. Oh, the color's coming in much better, man. Looking really good. So Scott S. We'll say Scott 1, Scott 1 and then Scott 2. All right, so this is where he is looking now. Again, the color's coming in. Where's my panel with all the images? There it is. Okay, yeah. So the color's coming in pretty nice, man. I gotta admit, you are definitely getting there. So there's a first picture of where he is now. Again, compare to the neighbors, colors coming in pretty nicely. And then looks like the dogs are having some fun in the lawn. From what I'm seeing, a little bit of bright green spots here and there. And then picture 2, if this loads, we'll see. Yeah, so it's coming in. It's coming in. I mean, you definitely have better color than the neighbors, so just keep up with it, man. Keep up with your mowing. Again, it's still pretty early in the season, and some of what we're seeing too is that because there's not been much rain over the course of the month of April, lawns are just dry, man. They're just not really doing that well. So yeah, once that turns around, we start getting a little bit more rain. The lawns should really light off and start doing well. I've started running irrigation regularly now since Mother Nature ain't cooperating with us, and my zoysia is looking pretty good. Bermuda's looking okay. So once you start getting rain regularly, all of our lawns should start doing that much better. All right. Okay. Next up, we have JGons98. He says some questions or comments. He says scalped and dethatched for the season. Yard's looking rough. Should I throw down some fertilizer to help with growth, or wait till the next app? Next liquid fert is liquid on the 2nd and granted on the 16th. I'm not sure what program you're running, JGons, but I mean, whatever program you're running, I would just stick to it. I would not do an out of cycle fertilizer application. So whatever you're doing, whatever program, you're definitely not doing ours because we don't sell either of those products. But whatever you're doing, if your thing is to apply the granular fertilizer once per month or whatever the interval is, I would stick with that. So if you did it like a couple of weeks ago and your thing is you're only going to apply it every 4 weeks, I would wait the 4 weeks. Personal opinion, as far as scalping and dethatching, I am not a fan of dethatching most lawns. Like most lawns really just don't need it. So if you scalp, you do a good scalp, that's for the most part going to do a pretty good job doing a lot of the cleanup work. If you wanted to get a little bit more aggressive, you could verticut the lawn, but dethatching does so much tearing and just it's so much trauma that for most lawns just really don't need it. Like if you had a lawn, let's say you're moving into a property and it was neglected for years and years and years, and you had like just matted down, really spongy layer. I still think personally a couple rounds of verticutting would be the better way to clean it up. But in a situation like that, maybe one time dethatching it would make sense. But as far as something to do every single year, not really necessary. So, depending again how aggressive you went, you scalped it and you dethatched it. So I can see why the lawn is perhaps on the struggle bus a little bit, but you still got plenty of season left. What I would say is just keep feeding the lawn on whatever interval or whatever program you happen to be using, and also keep up with your mowing. Like mowing is going to help stimulate growth, so just keep regularly mowing it and it should recover relatively quickly. I imagine that you have either Bermuda grass or zoysia grass, since you're talking about scalping, and really those would be the grasses that would be appropriate for. So yeah, I would keep up with your mowing, and I would not do anything out of band as far as additional nutrient inputs, because you don't overdo it. Okay, next up is Scott Smith. He says, not much growth, but it's greening up. It is true. I agree with you. The color is starting to come in better. And that's in spite of the lack of rain we've been having across the country, right? So yeah, I mean, overall, you got to take those wins, man. Got to take those small wins. All right, Michael Coulthard says, difficult to stay focused, working and listening, might not respond quickly. There's no problem, man. I mean, there's always a recording, and if there's a question you have or something that you need some clarification on, feel free to ping me later. You know how to reach out to me. You can always send me an email. Do my best to help you out. Let's see what we got next. Next up, we have Scott Smith. He says, y'all have a good night. I'm off to watch Michael at the movies. Cool. Have fun. Be safe. Have fun. Be safe. All right. Next up, let's look at, first of all, before we go to our next comment, let's look at some more top dressing. We have Rashid send us some pictures in of him getting ready to do some top dressing on his lawn. So this is what he is working with. Dude, I really like that stone wall in the background. It's kind of cool. looks like it's not negatively affecting the grass too much. So I guess however the sun passes over your lawn, it's not casting a shadow, which is nice. So there's that. That's what you're working with right now. This is where your front lawn is now. And then we see the sand being dropped off. So you got plenty of material to get to work. And yeah, so cool. Very nice, man. Looks like you marked your irrigation heads, which is smart. And you're about to get out there and get to top dressing. Very, very cool. Another top dressing project we have, also Robert Rainey, a Golf Course Lawn Academy member of the Lawn Legends group, always really active in there. So see some of the work he's putting in. So again, the process for leveling your lawn, again, if you're looking to get the absolute best results, can you just go out and just put material down on your existing lawn without core aeration? Yes. Is it going to be as good? No. Main reason why is you want whatever material you're bringing in, and I'm a big fan of 70% sand, 30% compost. You want to make it easy for that to integrate with your existing soil profile. So by doing a heavy core aeration, you're opening up the soil, and it's going to be much easier for that material to integrate with your existing soil profile. So big part of aeration is part of lawn leveling projects. And as you can see, when Robert's kicking his off, he is aerating. Doing a nice job, looking really good. So step one is getting the aeration done. You can see he's punching. Those are nice. That's a nice job. Looks like you made multiple passes. Those are looks like they're pretty tightly spaced. I like that. I like it. And then next he got his sand. Looks like he's going 100% sand this time. Okay, that can definitely work. And then you can see the equipment he's working with. He's got, I think he sent me some pictures here of what he's got. The material, the device he's using is pretty cool. He sent me a picture of it earlier, saying this is like his new favorite tool. I guess you just fill it up, and it very evenly distributes the top dressing mix, and you can see the results. It's putting it out nice and evenly. That's going to be at that 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch worth of material. Robert's lawn it's been top dressed several times. So what you're seeing there is it just sitting on the lawn. Once he makes a pass with a leveling rake with that, it's all going to fall in really, really easily. So overall looking really good. And there's the finished result. You can see it fully top dressed. And again, you can still see green through all that sand. And again, this hasn't been drug yet. So once he gets out there and drags it with a leveling rake, it's going to really fall in. And again, within a week or so, this lawn will be good to go. So again, thanks for sending pictures of the process, Robert and Jason. Is really, really helpful to show anyone that's really planning on leveling their lawn what's involved in doing it. I think Robert did a lot of it himself as well too. I want to think so. I'm not sure if he has help as well. I mean, he didn't have the full rig that Jason brought in. But yeah, it's overall you can see you don't need a whole lot to get it done. You saw Jason's process where we got video again. We can show Jason doing his thing, having fun, playing with the Tonka toys. You see, you got the Eco, you got a loader. So I mean, this is like the Cadillac approach, right? This is really, I mean, it doesn't get much easier than this as far as leveling goes. I mean, if you can, the hardest part is you've got to like stop one machine, get in the other machine, load this machine up, and just walk around the lawn. So for the most part, you're just doing a nice stroll around the lawn as you put all the material out, and then as he follows up, he uses the tractor to just to drag everything in. So for the most part, this is a relatively is a very nice way of doing it, right? Very nice way of doing it. Not a ton of physical, or I should say not a ton of physical, a drastically reduced amount of physical work involved taking that approach. Robert's approach, there is going to be some manual work involved in that, because he's going to get his leveling rake out and drag it in. But overall, the result, I'm sure, is going to be spectacular as always. So guys, thanks for sending those pictures in. Really, really do appreciate it. Okay, next up is Mr. Cedric Garth 9069. He says, good evening, fellow lawn enthusiasts. Ron, my Bermuda lawn is coming in nicely. Having some compaction issues. Lawn is not fully green, but looking to aerate it within the next month. I like it. Sounds like a good plan. If you want to do it, say the beginning of May, we're getting towards the end of April. If you want to do it early May, that would be absolutely fine. Here's what I would do, Cedric. If you're already feeding your lawn, which you should be fertilizing and whatnot already. If you're doing it at the beginning of the month, I would plan your aeration around that if at all possible. So if you're going to aerate the lawn, say the beginning of May, then get your aeration done and then put out, I'm a big fan of granular biostimulants, something like carbonized PNG, apply that, and then apply your fertilizer at reasonable rates. And then that's just going to fast track the process, right? You think about it, because fertilizer needs to get, or granular fertilizer anyway, it needs to get in the soil to begin to work, right? Goes in the soil, microbes break it down and conform and turn the nitrogen into a nitrate that the plant can absorb. And we just speed that process up if we're able to fast track it getting into the soil, which core aeration does for us, right? So overall, yeah, man, I mean, I'm glad to hear your lawn is doing well. But if you can plan your fertilizer app around when you're also doing your core aeration, that's going to yield a lot of benefits, all right? So good stuff, like it. Okay, Michael Coulthard says, yes, irrigation lines, really no weeds, and again, appreciate everything. Nice. Yeah, man. So irrigation line going in, but again, the lawn's going to grow through that really, really quickly. He's going to show folks again. Where is your lawn? Yes, this is your after. Yeah, that line, it's going to go through that without an issue. Again, we're still early in the season, so by mid to late May, it should be looking a lot better. Looking much better. All right, next up we got Lawn Lover says, planning on leveling the lawn next week and aeration this week. Should I apply Humichar and fertilizer after aeration and before leveling, or after leveling? Before leveling. So I would, if you're going to do your aeration this week, I would get that done, and I would apply whatever granular biostimulant you're doing and fertilizer. I would do that then. And then you can go ahead and do your top dressing, your leveling work. And then that's gonna, the fertilizer and the stimulants are just gonna help the grass recover that much faster from it. If you think about it, your granular biostimulant, your biochar products, and also like your fertilizer need to get into the soil to work. So if you were to go out and core aerate and then level the lawn, so now you put sand or material, whatever you happen to be using, over the entire lawn, you've pretty much closed up all the holes that were created from the core aeration. Then you're gonna go lay fertilizer on top of that. I mean, can it work? Yes. Are you still going to get a good result? Sure. But I mean, it makes more sense to do it the other way around, because the products you're applying need to get into the soil. So after aeration, apply whatever you're going to be putting down that needs to get in the soil, and then top dress on top of that. That's just going to be the approach that's more logical, and you're just going to get a better result going that way. All right, Lawn Lover? Sounds like a good plan. And again, keep us posted as far as how it all works out for you. Really appreciate you coming in on the show and letting us know what you got planned for this season. All right, next up is Mr. Hayes. He says, hey, Ron and all, no rain in Greensboro, North Carolina area. Supposed to rain this weekend. Supposed to. I've been watching my turf top fescue and it looks good. My neighbors are letting theirs go dormant. I expect a high water bill. So you're like, nope, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm setting the standard. I am not letting my grass go dormant. Whatever, we'll pay the water bill. I get it. Well, hopefully we'll start getting some more regular rain, so you don't have to rely so heavily on irrigation. I completely get that. All right. Michael Coulthard has a question on leveling. He says, question on leveling. I have some real thin areas in shaded areas. Do I still top dress at the same level, or leave alone till it fills in a bit more? If you're going to top dress, go lighter there than you do in the other parts of the lawn. That's what I would tell you. Because the thing is, with it being shaded, the grass is already going to struggle there. So if you go too heavy, in many ways, you're piling on stress on top of a grass that's already stressed due to lack of sunlight. So if you wanted to, again, I haven't seen pictures of it, but if you wanted to level or top dress the areas that are seeing a bit of shade, just go lighter than you would in the areas that are getting like full sunlight. So this, like, for example, this section of your lawn that you send the pictures of, like this, from what I'm seeing, for the most part, gets plenty of sunlight, at least near the satellite dish, right? Maybe near the house, maybe that area gets a lot more shade because the house casts a shadow. So perhaps there, maybe you put a little bit less material there, go a little bit lighter, but the rest of the area where you get a lot of full sun, you could top dress at the regular rate, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch of material per 1,000 square feet, and you should be just fine. All right. So good question on the amount of material to use, and hopefully that helps you with getting a good result. All right. So I'm sure others are going to have that question, so we will save it for them. All right. Coulthard, not related to the Formula One driver. All right, next up is Jose Castles. Good evening, Ron. Hope all is well. Should I put down some sand on the dead spots in my front yard. No, I've looked at your lawn, Jose. I mean, I would keep mowing it. I mean, your lawn is beginning to fill in, and if you're like the rest of the country, we haven't had that much rain, so I wouldn't want you to do anything that's really going to stress it. If you wanted to go like do a light top dressing with maybe just some compost or maybe compost and a little bit of sand, that would be okay. But I would not, based on what I've seen from your lawn over the past year, the areas that are struggling. If I'm thinking about like where you're probably referring to, I would not go 100% sand there. I would ensure there's some kind of organic material in whatever you're putting down, and I would go light because again, we're trying to get the grass to spread in there, and we don't want to put an inch of material down. It's just going to make things worse. You're going to be kind of working against yourself, if that makes sense. So if you're going to do it, go light and ensure there is some compost or screen topsoil in whatever you're applying. All right. Big thing is go light. All right. Jay Gon says, I have hybrid Bermuda lawn here in Austin, Texas. When it comes to top dressing / leveling, do you just recommend scalping and aerating before laying down product? Anything else am I missing? Yeah, so the process, I would say for leveling a lawn, if you're, again, there's different ways of doing it, but if you go hire a service to do it, or if you hire a good one, this is what they're gonna do. They are going to aerate the lawn. They're gonna make multiple passes, really aerate it, open the soil up. They're gonna put out, at a minimum, just a fertilizer. Some of them will put out a biostimulant as well, but they'll put out a granular fertilizer after aerating the lawn. And then they will level or put the material out over their lawn and drag it in. That's the general process for getting a good result with when it comes to aeration, for a couple of reasons. When you core aerate, you're relieving compaction, and you're also creating voids in the soil profile that for it to accept both fertilizer and also that leveling material that you're about to put out on the lawn. So at a minimum, if you're looking, again, if you really want to get a good result, you're going to core aerate and then fertilize, and then finally you would level the lawn. You put the top dressing material on last. All right. And again, what I'd recommend is about 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet. What that will work out to as far as coverage for most lawns is about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of material over 1,000 square feet, which is just fine. Like your lawn is going to recover relatively quickly going at that rate. If you get out there and put out, 3/4 of an inch, a full inch or more, will Bermuda grass tolerate that? For the most part, yes, but I mean, it's going to take a lot longer to recover. If you get rain, it's going to make a big mess. So in general, 1 cubic yard of material per 1,000 square feet is a better approach in my opinion. You're better off doing multiple rounds of top dressing than going out one time and trying to go super heavy. Because even if you go out and do it super heavy, it's still not going to come out perfect. You're still going to have to do some spot top dressing throughout the season. So why not just go light and just go again over the whole thing, light again? You're going to get a better result. You'll be able to enjoy your lawn more. It won't create such a big mess. And overall, if you watch the pros do it, that is how they go about it. All right. So hopefully that helps. All right. Next up is Mr. Hayes says, should we concern ourselves with fungal disease at this time, or should we start using a fungicide? Yeah, so it depends on your approach, Mr. Hayes. I'm still going to be applying fungicide next month. So late April, early May, I'm going to be doing a fungicide application. So because this time of year, normally we get a lot of rainfall, but the rain is going to come. And what you're getting is a combination of wet weather and also an increase in temperature. And we're also beginning to feed the lawn. And if you're a person that's watching the show, you're probably someone that is mowing your lawn regularly. So we're injuring the turf more regularly than someone that just that doesn't really care about their grass, right? So for those reasons, both environmental conditions and then also our cultural practices, where we're mowing a lawn a lot more than a regular person does, you are more prone to there being a disease issue. So that's why if you look at our lawn care schedule on the Golf Course Lawn Store, if you go to shop and then resources and lawn care schedule and scroll down to monthly application schedule, you'll see there that in the month of May, you see the first spring/summer fungicide application, and then another one in June. So in May and June, beginning of May, beginning of June, fungicide app, that's going to do a lot for keeping disease at bay. And again, this is primarily targeted at highly maintained turf, because if you're a customer of the Golf Course Lawn Store or you're watching our content, you're not someone that mows your lawn once every 3 weeks, right? You're someone that is serious about your turf, and you're mowing it more frequently. You're doing all the things. So a fungicide application preventatively is cheap insurance for that. So to answer your question, yes, I would apply fungicide, and I would do it. If you're doing it preventatively, you could do your first one the end of this month to early May. All right. So hopefully that helps, Mr. Hayes. Appreciate the question. All right, next up, we have E. Williams. He says, hey, Ron, hope all is well. I really enjoy your show, and it's a blessing that you spread so much knowledge for free. My question is it safe to put a lawn roller on a 2-week-old newly placed sod? Yeah, so here's how I would do about that, E. Williams. First of all, thanks for the kind words. Really do appreciate you watching the content. And then as far as using a roller on new sod, yes, I am a fan of doing that. The big reason to do it is to help promote contact of the sod with the existing soil. So I didn't use a roller per se, but I did use my reel mower. So I took my reel mower, disengaged the reel, a reel mower, my Toro Greensmaster is a couple 100 pounds, and I just ran that over the sod with the only goal was just putting some weight on it, right? Helping it to push it down, press it, get that good contact of the sod to the soil to encourage it to root in. So if you want to do use a roller on it, I mean, it doesn't have to do it all the time, but if you want to roll the lawn once or twice, that's going to help. And then if you're reel mowing, assuming you're going to be reel mowing the lawn, that also is going to have a rolling effect. So you didn't say what kind of sod you have, but between the 2 and 3 week point, especially if you're putting the sod down on a relatively level surface, you should be able to get out there and start lightly, again, keyword lightly mowing it. And that's going to help the sod to establish faster, really help it root in faster. Like my zoysia lawn, which again is on a slope, I started mowing, it got its first cut at day 12, right? And it came in beautifully this season, or last season, it came in really, really well. So I'm not saying you need to make drastic changes to how to cut, but when whenever there's something new, whenever there's new growth, if you cut that off, it's going to encourage the grass to grow. It's going to help it root in faster. It's going to help it to establish that much faster. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they'll go out and they'll sod a new lawn and they'll just leave it alone for like 4 to 6 weeks. It's a terrible idea. Like you should, whenever there's something to mow, lightly, again, keyword lightly, cut the lawn and it's going to encourage new growth. All right. Once it's rooted in, you can put a mower on it. Just be sensible about it. Don't make any like major how to cut changes initially. All right, so hope that helps. E. Williams, can you roll it? Yes, a couple of times really should be all that you need. And there are benefits for establishing your lawn. But in addition to rolling the lawn, what I would tell you is once it is tacked down, like the sod is throwing roots and rooting in, put a mower on it, man. It's going to help it establish that much faster. Don't believe me? Look at my videos, my content from last year. It's exactly what I did. To a lawn on a slope, no less. It's even harder to get done. All right, Devin is in the live stream. He's up. He says, what's up, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. Out of commission, had 1 ton pallet of FERT actually sat down on my foot on Wednesday. Wife running the push reel mower for me until I can mow. Hey, you know what? You got a good one, Devin. I got to say that. So you're out of commission. I'm really sorry that you had, dang, you got your foot crushed. Ouchie, 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 ouchie. Oh, it's got to hurt. But that's cool that she is running the mower for you. Wait, so hang on a second. So I have to dissect the comment a little bit. So she's running the push reel mower. You don't trust her with the Greensmaster. You know what? There's a test you got to pass. You got to be certified to run the Greensmaster. So I appreciate you helping out. I'm down for the count, keeping the grass looking good. We're gonna get you this push reel mower. You're gonna earn your stripes, and once we promote you to on a private, then we'll move you up to the push reel mower or to the Greensmaster. Interesting. So at any rate, we're having a good laugh at the comment. But yeah, it's good. It's really cool that she's still mowing the lawn for you because I know how important it is. And wishing you a speedy recovery, man. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully, again, nothing was broken. It was just like a bad bruise or something, and that you'll be okay before we know it. So, ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Like I said, I'll say it again. You got a good one, man. She's out there mowing the lawn for you. Push reel mower, no less, right? Kind of cool. All right, Michael Coulthard says, I will send pictures of the thin areas when I can get them. It is thin enough that I can see dirt and hard turn the mower without damaging it. But I'll take your advice, thinner top dressing. Yeah, just really light. And again, I can't stress enough, Michael, especially in that area, if you wanted to have more compost, like again, light compost in that area, that's a good way to go to. You know what I mean? We want to do everything we can to make it easier for the grass to spread and grow in that area. So a little bit of compost, a little bit of organic material will help it to do the best that it can, given that it's not getting a whole lot of sunlight. You know what I mean? All right. Next up is Jason Carney. He says, "What's up, Lawn Stud?" He said, "This daggum drought is killing me. Water bill is hellacious." Hey, man, look. You got to pay to play. You got to pay to play. You know, everyone wants to have a great lawn until it's time to do great lawn stuff. And sometimes Mother Nature does not come out and really help out with rainfall. So the question is, you know, how bad do you want it? And water bill a little bit higher this 1 month, so be it, right? You got to set the standard. Got to hold things down. All right. He says, just put down hydrate and moisture max on the lawn. Rain forecast for tomorrow. Praying. We'll get some. You'll see. We'll get that rainfall, and the lawns will just light off. They'll be like, "Woo, where have you been?" They will absolutely pop in after getting some rainfall. So just don't worry about it, Jason. It'll be okay. Louis P86 says, "How heavy is the Revolution 26?" I don't know. I've never weighed it. It's lighter than my Greensmaster. It's the lightest mower that I have. I don't know how it compares to, say, like a True Cut, but it is lighter than my Greensmaster 1600, which is also lighter than the Owlet. So in excess of 100 pounds, I would say for sure, but I don't know exactly how much it weighs. It's definitely lighter than a GM 1600. So okay, so we got some more context here. I asked if she wanted to use the GM 1000. She said not a chance. Okay, so you offered the high end equipment, but she's like, no, I don't want this thing running away with me. I'm not doing it. You said big toe got crushed and broke. Ah, man. Luckily nothing else. 3 to 4 weeks for the bones to heal. Oh yeah. Man, that stinks. Ouch. I'm sorry. Man, keep encouraging her though. You know, here's the thing. She can learn whip turns and stuff. I mean, your lawn doesn't look. I mean, you do have to kind of plan your passes with the Greensmaster, but she can figure it out. She can learn with it. You know, I mean, just get there and coach. You know, a little bit. I mean, you know, I guess it's not as hard. It's not as hard as it looks to run one of those. I mean, here's the thing. You could even go easy mode. You have to do whip turns. They can just make your pass, and then when you get to the end of the pass, stop, turn the mower, line things up, you know, and then engage and make your next pass, then stop. You don't have to do like the whip turns. It doesn't have to be like one continuous motion initially. You can learn it. You can figure it out. And it's less work. It's less work than the push wheel mower. There is that. I will say that it's definitely less work than pushing it. So something to consider. All right, next up is Andre Taylor. He says, "What's up, Ron? Enjoying every bit of the content. Happy Friday." Thank you so much, Andre. I had to make up, man. Last week was not great, man. I'm trying to think. We're at episode 301 of doing the show, which is kind of crazy. And that's the first time we've had that many technical problems in one show. So earlier this week, I did a live stream. Like, you guys didn't see it. I just did it, just an unlisted one, and I let it run for like an hour to see if there were any issues, and it ran perfectly. And tonight, so far, knock on wood, we've been good to go, right? So hopefully that's all we're gonna have, and we'll go another 300 before we have another show where we have technical problems like that. But I appreciate you watching the content. It really means a lot. All right, Mr. Dan Taylor's up next. He says, "Good evening, Ron and everyone. My questions are, should I put Headway G out May and June timeframe, and also a Celeprint G out March, April? 2 applications each. That should be a good schedule. Thanks." Okay, yeah. So what I would say, Dan, for the fungicides, yes. So doing a fungicide application May, June, like it. For a Celeprint, I wouldn't. I mean, the product, one, it's expensive, and then second, it has a residual such that you really shouldn't have to apply it again a month later. So if you do an application of a Celeprint G late March, early April, you're really good until like late July, early August. You know what I mean? So I would not. I definitely wouldn't do them a month apart. I mean, again, the product's not, it's not an inexpensive product, and there's just really no need to space your insecticide applications that closely together. Fungicide, especially since you're real mowing or doing all the things, 1 in May, 1 in June, yes, great idea. Insecticide app, especially if you're using a Celeprint G, not really necessary. You could do one again now this time of year, and then another one really late July, early August, and that's really going to be it for the season for you. All right. So that is what I would do, sir. Hopefully that helps. I like the fact that you're thinking ahead and looking to do all the preventative measures to keep your lawn in top form. Really, really good. If I can help with anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Next up, so we got a Cash App, man. This one is from Mr. Chris Kennedy from Simple Cash Offer. So let me put you up here, man. I know we're getting close to the end of the show. We can still put some respect in your name. So he says here, simple. We'll do Simple Cash Offer. We'll just do that. All right. So here we go. Simple Cash Offers the show sponsor. Your name in lights for whatever that means to you. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Really do appreciate it. All right. Next up, we have Cooking with Chris. He says, hey, Ron, my Xeon Zoysia is still recovering from scalp spots. Unfortunately, because it is on level, I keep scalping the same spots. Will leveling my lawn help these higher areas by pulling them up from lower? Yes. So a couple of things I would do with this Cooking with Chris. One, to answer your question, yes. Will leveling help with the scalping? Yes, it will help reduce that. But second, until we level, I would raise the height of the cut of that mower just a little bit. You don't want to keep scalping your Zoysia over and over. If your lawn is uneven such that it will not tolerate being cut at the current height of cut that you're after, I would just raise the height of cut up just a little bit. You know what I mean? And after you go out and you top dress it, you level it, you know, maybe you can get back down to that height or maybe even lower. But if you're continually scalping in one particular spot, I personally would just bump that height of cut up just a little bit so you're not constantly injuring the grass. And also, given that it's Zoysia, it's going to take a long time for it to recover. You don't want to be staring at an eyesore for any longer than you have to. So, so for me, that is what I would do. Leveling, yes, but also raise the height of cut just a little bit because that's going to help preserve the appearance of your lawn while you're planning your lawn leveling project. All right. So hope that helps. All right. Next up is Jason Harrison. Is 200 without the catcher for the Revolution 26. Yes. So there you go. So the person was asking how much does the Revolution 26 weigh? 200 pounds without the grass catcher. So it's got some weight to it. Got some weight to it. Simple Cash Offer says, and again, we got you up here. He says, hey, Ron, this is my favorite season. I only have a few dandelions. I haven't put down prodiamine in a while. Should I just put down my 28-5-10? Would you spray your biostims too? Okay. So first of all, prodiamine is not really, I don't think it's labeled to prevent dandelions. However, dandelions are pretty easy to control. Like most 3-ways, Celsius, all those will control those. So if you're trying to get those knocked over, there's a ton of different herbicides that will do that. If you wanted, you're asking about putting out a granular fertilizer. I'm thinking that's granular. Can you? Yes, I would feed the lawn. And also, would you spray biostimulants if you're talking about like the Golf Course Lawn Carbon Kit? Yes, I would. Now, with a carbon kit, if you're using it at the rates that I recommend, you're putting out about 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen. So whatever rate you're using for that 28% nitrogen fertilizer, just make sure you're being sensible about it, right? So you want to put about 1/2 pound of nitrogen thereabouts, in my opinion, over 1,000 square feet per month from granular, and then liquid sprays every couple of weeks. So as long as you're kind of jockeying the application rates between those products to get that to hit like 7/10 to 8/10 of a pound of nitrogen per month, you should be good to go. So yeah, hopefully that helps, sir. Again, thank you so much for the Cash App. If you need anything else, let me know. All right, next up, we got Mr. Jason Harrison. He says, yeah, according to the Real Roller website. Cool. So they have it on their website, how much it weighs. 200 pounds. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate the assist. And then Mr. Robert Rainey, closing things out. He says, good evening. So, Robert, I already showed everyone all your hard work, man. You probably were out there working on the lawn. So, again, for any of you guys that are new to the show, we're not watching earlier, Robert Rainey and both Jason Harrison, both those folks there, just Robert and Jason, are members of the Golf Course Lawn Academy. They're in the Lawn Legends group. They are both insane lawn overachievers. Jason, having already done the leveling work on his lawn for this season, you can see the fruits of his labor and then how it's recovering from day 0 to day 5. And then Robert is another, we'll say, just lawn fanatic that's also doing some leveling work this year. And you can see he's doing his core aeration and putting out his top dressing material. Both guys are doing it sensibly, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of material, not going crazy. And overall, their lawn's going to recover faster and look great for it. So guys, again, thanks for sending the content out or the pictures out. It really, really does help out a lot. Really appreciate it. Okay, we have a few more questions here this evening. He says, James Black has a question. He says, can image be applied to wet soil? I'm not sure I can get it down before the rain. Okay, so there's different types of image. If you're talking about imazaquin, so like the one that's designed for controlling POA and a few other weeds, it needs to be watered in after application. So if, again, I'm not sure which image you're talking about, but if it's the one that I'm thinking about, then you applying it and then getting rainfall is not necessarily a bad thing because it needs to be watered in anyway. And then finally, our last comment of the evening, this was from Mr. Dan Taylor. He says, am I safe to put out carbonized PNG every month from now until October? Yes, absolutely. So once per month, at the beginning of the month, around the same time you're applying your granular fertilizer, you're good to go on that. Yeah, there's no problem at all with applying your granular biostimulant in the form of carbonized PNG once a month. What I'd say is, at the beginning of the season, I apply it heavier to kind of load up. But then really once, if you're doing it doing monthly applications, one bag can cover 4,000 square feet. So you can do like 10 pounds per thousand. That's going to be a good rate for that product. And again, saves you some money and you're going to get all the benefits without breaking the bank. So you can do that every month until October. No issue at all with that. And then James Blank says it's a nuts edge killer. Yeah, so if it's that product, it needs to be watered, at least if memory serves me, I'm almost positive it needs to be watered in after application. So if there's rain in the forecast, that's a good thing. So apply it and let it rain and then it'll get watered in. So because Image, if it's the one I'm thinking about, it's available as a concentrate, but you can also buy it, or there used to be anyway, a version of it that you could get that connected to a hose end sprayer. So that kind of shows you like it needs quite a bit of water as a carrier to really to be applied and to get down into the soil to where it can work. So if that's what you're using, then rainfall shortly after you apply it is a good thing. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And then finally, our last comment of the evening, Mr. Justin King says, Ron, I'm going for it next spring. You're gonna sprig Tahoma. Okay, I like it. Take pictures. Let me know how it works out. It should be a fun project. I'm sure that it will go well. Well, all right, guys, gals, again, thank you guys for coming to hang out this evening. I know last week we had some technical difficulties, which were not great, kind of irritating, but we are back live and direct. Things went much better this evening, and overall, appreciate you guys still giving me another shot to come show up and support the content. As always, if you're looking for a great top shelf assortment of fertilizers, herbicides, biostimulants, plant growth regulators, everything you need to create a lawn that your neighbors are going to absolutely envy, check us out at the Golf Course Lawn Store. We would love the opportunity to be part of your lawn care journey. Again, this is the month of lawn leveling. We're going to be doing fungicides soon and also plant growth regulators. There's tons of great stuff you can get into. If you're watching this show later on, the pinned comment will be our product application calendar, which I will link right now, and that will let you know what you should be doing when throughout the season. Again, thanks for coming to hang out with me, guys, this evening. Get out there, do something fun in the lawn, and I will talk to you guys next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. Take care.